Hey everyone, Maestro here. I am the football enthusiast. Hope you are all doing well. Alright, so I believe, now I may be wrong, but yesterday we had our final batch of games of the 22-23 season. They were European qualifiers, international, but they were still part of the 22-23 season. But yeah, essentially with those games out of the way, in Europe we are done. The football is done. At club it was done a while ago. International is now also done. The Brazilian league, the MLS, the Argentinian league, leagues outside of Europe are still going on. But in Europe, where football is at its best, the top level is officially over. And with it being over, as always, we tend to now look back on the season that we just had and come to certain conclusions. Who was the best team? Who was the biggest surprise? Who was the biggest flop? The best signing? The worst signing? And of course, the best player. And that is what I'm talking about today in this video, who I believe, if you were to give the Ballon d'Or right here, right now, who do I think deserves the Ballon d'Or for the 2023 season? The 22-23 season. So yeah, this is the topic of today's video, and we're gonna start. I'm gonna give you my five. I have 5 players that I want to talk about that I think are my top five players for the Ballon d'Or rankings. And there is 4 of them I think a lot of you will agree with, but there is one that will be a huge surprise. Maybe it's kind of my hot take. Not really a hot take. You know what? You guys will see it. If you think it's crazy, just let me know. So this is just based off me with my own 2 eyes, watching these players with my own 2 eyes, and coming to my conclusion on who I think was better. You see on the screen right now who scored, which is this website I tend to use for statistics and match results, etc. They also have their own rating system. It's their algorithm. Now, their rating system is making their top 5 is as such: Messi, Mbappe, Neymar, Griezmann, and De Bruyne. But I'm not going off that. I'm going off me. I don't agree with Neymar being 3rd. He played only 18 games. I don't agree with Jude Bellingham being 6th. That's crazy. Haaland was definitely Bellingham. Benzema, Kane, Lewandowski were great, but I don't think they're not in my top 5 either. So this is just kind of not what I'm going off, just in case people wonder. I'm going off me and what I feel and what I saw with my own 2 eyes. I'm starting with Kylian Mbappe. He is one of my first 5 nominees. Why? Look, let's start with club, because once again we should make it clear there was a World Cup this year, and that's a huge factor. But let's start with club. He was amazing in the French league. He broke records. There were issues with his finishing and at times a bit inconsistent, but he was sensational as always. He was so electric. In the Champions League, they did fall short, but it wasn't because of him. He played his part. He did play poor against Bayern. I'll give you that. That was a disappointment, especially the second leg was a bit of a disappointment. But ultimately, he was fantastic for PSG as a whole. And yes, I know it's the French league, we can't really credit it that much, but that's okay because he's still here because of the World Cup. He was one of the 2 best players of the World Cup, alongside, I'm sure you're aware of, Messi. He was unbelievable, fantastic. I think he kind of had he stumbled a bit for me in the semis and the quarters, but ultimately it was a sensational performance throughout the entire World Cup. And it's the World Cup. It's the most prestigious tournament in sports, in football for sure, maybe sports in itself. So I can't not look past that, and it is the biggest stage. That hat-trick in the final, and just in general from the group stage to now, he is a killer. He is the guy. He's a very young lad, 24 years old, and he is one of the best players in the world, and he could be the best player in the world. Moving on, the treble winner, the very recent treble winner, 22 years old, youngster, goal-scoring machine. Look at this. Look at this right here. 61 appearances this season. Look, on my cursor, 61 goals. That is almost, not quite, but almost prime Messi and Ronaldo numbers. Prime Messi and Ronaldo, they would have a bit more goals, but that's as close as we've seen to those numbers in quite some time. It is sensational. And to go with those goals, a treble. Champions League, Premier League, FA Cup. There are not many players that have won a treble. He is one of them. So with that combined with his goals, yes, internationally there's not much to talk about, but club level there is a lot to talk about. So he is here. He is my second nominee. Third, 35-year-old Lionel Messi, soon to be 36. he's pretty much in the same boat as Mbappe. Yeah, he was amazing at club level, but it is the French league, you can't give him much credit. And the Champions League, yes, they bowed out soon, but I do not fault him one bit. He was, for me, him and Mbappe were the two shining lights of that team. That team had problems. That PSG team has many problems. Two of those problems were not Messi or Mbappe. They were fantastic. They did their job, but doesn't matter either way, because his case is once again like Mbappe's, bulked by the fact that he had a sensational World Cup. The best player won the damn thing. From the first game, Saudi was a bit rough, but I thought it was okay. But after that, from Mexico all the way to France, sensational. He carried that team on his back, and he got his crowning achievement that he's been wanting for so long. The World Cup is officially his, and because of that, he is the third nominee. Fourth, Haaland's teammate Kevin De Bruyne. Now, his international campaign was not good, in my opinion. They got on the group stages, I believe. It was pretty poor. He was pretty poor, if I'm being honest. But like Haaland, even though he doesn't have a great World Cup campaign to show, at club level he was his sensational self. He won a treble. We can't ignore that. Not many players have won a treble, and he was once again the playmaking machine that he always is. It's not just about assists that he gets; it's his passes that break through the midfield. It's his plays. It's his decision making. He is a genius, and he was at play once again this recent season. He is my fourth nominee. Now, my fifth nominee is my hot take. My hot take is Antoine Griezmann. Let me explain. Firstly, unlike the four nominees before, I believe Griezmann has a great case for the Ballon d'Or in both club and international level. Now, I'm not saying that Messi or Mbappe were bad for their clubs, but being in the French league is not much to show. Griezmann was absolutely fantastic for Atletico and France. And Spain's a hard league. It's a league that gives you great praise. So, firstly, the World Cup. Mbappe, rightly so, was probably crowned France's best player, but Griezmann was right there with him, man. And in the semis and the quarters, I thought Mbappe kind of slipped up a bit, but Griezmann pushed forward, and he was sensational in both those games. Specifically against England, he ran that game. He was unbelievable all throughout. Fantastic. The final is where Griezmann kind of fell off. The final was a poor performance from Griezmann. So that's why probably Mbappe deserves to be the France's best player. But then we go to La Liga. Ter Stegen won the award for the best player of La Liga, but I think that's all because of the trophy. Because Barcelona won the trophy, and they just wanted to give it to the player that actually won the trophy. Griezmann, for me, was La Liga's best player this season, just easily. He was. This is like 5 years ago, prime Atletico Griezmann. He was sensational. So these are my top 5. The hot take is Griezmann, but I will say now, so from top 5 to top 3, you can probably see in the thumbnail, De Bruyne, Griezmann were fantastic. These two, keep switching, but yes, these two were amazing. And I mentioned them because I think they deserve a shout, but take Griezmann away, take De Bruyne away, I believe the front 3 should be Mbappe, Haaland, and Messi. Now, who do I think should win it? Right here. I think Lionel Messi deserves his, and this is crazy, 8th Ballon d'Or. Let me explain. It rides on the World Cup, yes. It's all on that World Cup that I saw. And let me explain to you what I think about his World Cup campaign. Just in my own words. I've never seen anything like it before. That Argentinian team is a good team. It is. It's okay. It's solid. There's a solid foundation with good youngsters that you could build on. But I'm telling you guys, if Messi is not in that team, if Messi does not play in the Argentinian team, they do not make it past the group stage. I'm being dead. Hell, you can make a case that they don't even qualify for the World Cup. Let's rewind back to that game against Mexico. They just lost to Saudi. Messi comes out saying, "Don't worry, trust us, we will perform." They play against Mexico. It's a horrid game. It's a poor performance from Argentina. But then Messi gets that one snippet of a chance, they score, and that goal then sent them on a trajectory to greatness. McAllister was great. Yes, he was. Enzo was also fantastic, and Martinez in goal was sensational. But it all falls apart not for this man. If Messi does not play, they do not go past the group stage. France without Mbappe will be just fine, I believe. I believe they still make the final without Mbappe, if not at least the semis. Haaland without City. Look, City have been the best team in the world for 5 years now. Haaland, yes, when he finally came, that's when they finally won the Champions League. But if you take out Haaland and you put in Kane or Osimhen, are they not winning the Champions League still? They are. So I'm still giving it. Look, those aren't. That's not the. That's just one minor reason, but there are many other reasons. For example, Haaland is a fantastic goal scorer, yes, but everything else when it comes to Haaland and the Messi comparison falls to Messi. Goal scoring, yes, Haaland is sensational. Goal scoring is a huge factor, if not the biggest factor. But when it comes to the playmaking aspect and also the goal scoring aspect that he also has, combined with the playmaking aspect, Messi for me comes out on top. And once again, let's not look. The Ronaldo fans have tried to destroy the World Cup. Before Messi won it, it was the most prestigious tournament of all. It was everything you'd ever wanted as a player. It is the World Cup, the holy grail of sports, not just football, of sport. It is the most watched event in sports. And he won it. And not only did he win it, he destroyed it. He was the best player. He was the man of the match for every single flipping game, apart from Saudi. He was the man of the match against Poland, but he gave it to McAllister. I can't ignore the historic run that I saw from Messi. What Haaland treble was fantastic. Mbappe was also sensational. But I'm sorry, maybe I am biased. Maybe it's just some subconscious thing inside of me that is just saying this and I'm not aware of it. But I cannot ignore what I saw from Messi in that World Cup campaign. In terms of, like, in history of World Cup campaigns, you have to talk about Maradona in '86, R9 in '98, Pele in 1970. There are others, but I'd say those are the three that probably get spoken about the most. Messi is right. Messi in the 22 World Cup is right there. He is right there with them. In fact, he could be better than them. Because, in my personal opinion, Messi had a lot more to do than Pele, R9, and Maradona. Maybe Maradona had the same amount of load to take, but apart from that, Pele and R9 did not have the load that Messi did. Without Messi, they did not make the knockout stages. I think they lose against Mexico. I think they draw against Mexico and draw against Poland, and that would have been them out of the World Cup. But with him, not only did they go past the group, they win the damn tournament. So, with that being said, Haaland is sensational. And maybe, if you want to say, hey, you're just being biased, look, I really am not. That's not who I am. I'm just going off my personal opinions. And watching that World Cup campaign and watching Haaland's campaign at City, it just, part of me feels like City will be fine without Haaland. You know, the reason why City, for me, never won the Champions Leagues in the past couple of years is because they just never had the speck of luck on their side, and also just a bit bubbly when it comes to clutch moments. But Haaland never changed that. He was more like, for example, if you look at City's goal scoring, it's the same as last year. It's essentially, it's close. So Messi's effect on his teams, for me, exceeded Haaland's effect on his. And with that, I'm giving the Ballon d'Or to Messi, like I said before. He is my winner of the Ballon d'Or. I believe him to be the best player of the 2022 season. I think there's a lot of recency bias. Like, if the World Cup took place now in June, and then that's when Messi won it, I think no one would be arguing this. But because it was in December, because of the weather and the changes in Qatar, people are now going with recency bias and they're pulling for Haaland. So yeah, I'm going for Messi. And real quick, on any honorable mentions, Rodri is a player that's been mentioned quite a bit because he won the treble and they just won the Nations League. Here's my thing. Rodri has been fantastic. I could not care less about the Nations League. Are you kidding me? At what point did the Nations League become this major trophy that we all care about? Who grows up saying, guys, forget the World Cup, forget the Euros. I'm looking for that Nations League. That is a friendly tournament that was made by UEFA for money. They just wanted to just find a way to make friendlies fun. They are friendlies. Don't get that wrong. They are friendlies. Okay, they're worth less than European qualifiers. All right. So I'm sorry. Rodri was fantastic, and he could have been 6th or 7th on my list. But I'm not giving him bonus points for the Nations League. That's just a real quick to end on. But yeah, Messi is my winner. My hot take is Griezmann being in the top 5. What do you guys think? Is Messi your number 1? Is it Haaland? Is it Mbappe? Do you have a hot take? Do you have someone that you might mention that no one else will, that should be in the top 5? Let me know down below. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like. If you want to see more, please subscribe for more. It really, really helps out. And as always, take care of yourselves. Have a great day.